Hello.
Hello, here we are again.
Who else is wants to be hosting? That's we've discussed in the Discord. Just put your hand up. I'm gonna put my mic off and do that first.
Turbulent, then malicious sheep, of course. Javier, Kizio. Yeah. So, may do you want to speak, Carolyn, or who wants to take the lead on this?
You can if you want to invite more co-hosts up, I have a script, but I don't know how to do them multiple at a time, so I was just working on that. So if you want to get more co-hosts, I can run the script.
I'm only speaker here, so
Okay, I sent you an invite.
okay, I try to find it.
Let's
Um,
and I sent one to Javier. Okay, let's see. All invite.
So for the people, some people are joining us after the Tickle Talks. We were having an interview with Willy guys, which was very interesting and dug pretty deep into stuff around the Teia community. And we have, of course, people joining from other places who have not listened to the Tickle Talks. So we might want to reiterate on some stuff, but there will be an extended Q&A, so you can ask all your questions and all your maybe feedback or ideas or something. This is meant to be a community update. This is already, if you count in the Tickle Talks, this is the fourth space today from the Teia community. I think we had one Spanish one. A few hours ago, we had the Tickle Talk interview, and we had a English space for the Pacific people. Um, Also, a few hours ago, yeah, multiple hours ago, and now we are at evening UTC time, and yeah, I hope everyone has is having a good time. Okay, um, so what are we going to do?
Okay, is that enough people I've got invited, or have you got your host invite yet, Merchant?
I haven't received it. I'm sorry. Um, d
Well,
didn't pop up at my.
I have it. I have it. Says here I can cancel the invite, which means I've sent it.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll cancel and try again.
Now I see it. That's great. Cool.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just going to read the script that I drafted and co-edited in the Discord. So before we begin, let us acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands which support our bodies as we gather here virtually today, and pay respects to the elders past and present with a brief moment of silence. Okay, thank you, and let's begin. My name is Carolyn, and I should probably join this on my personal account so I'm in the crowd. Let me just do that. Reminder set, join this space. Okay. And I'm hosting on behalf of the Teia community. My co-hosts are on the stage with me, and I will be happy to have you guys hop in as you want to once I finish kind of like reading this intro. This recorded space will last for 1 hour, give or take. I think most of our guests have been on other spaces already today and may have other places to go to, so we'll try to keep it to our time. The purpose of this space is to celebrate the successful launch of Teia.Art and review our community updates, and then open the floor for a Q&A and kind of a hangout. Once the intro is over, the floor is going to be open for questions, and anyone may request to speak. And once you're granted speaking permission, please mute your mic until asked by one of the co-hosts to unmute your mic. And you can just raise your hand if you have something to say. And when you're invited to the stage, I think probably can pin a tweet to the space if you want to. And if you have any questions now or in the future, please refer to the links in the Teia Community Twitter bio for more information about any of the things that we discuss in here. The first part of this meeting is dedicated to a brief overview of the most current information and documentation linked through the Teia Community profile. Whew. Okay. So the first question, what is Teia.Art? Teia.Art is a decentralized marketplace for digital assets in the form of clean NFTs powered by the decentralized open source Tezos blockchain, which is one of the oldest proof-of-stake Layer 1 blockchains. Who is Teia Community? Teia Community is a decentralized community of artists, collectors, and hackers. Our core shared values are inclusivity, respect, community solidarity, decentralization, simplicity, accessibility, sustainability, and creativity. Our community agrees to adhere to the code of conduct briefly outlined as such. To contribute and help improve the community, harassment is not tolerated, respect of copyright and intellectual property. Failure to follow this code may result in account restriction. And I was going to just briefly review the newsletter that we have up now, which is linked through our bio. The fork, this is a fork of what is known as hicetnunc.xyz, then .art, and there was a shutdown in November, on the 11th of November in 2021, and the Teia community formed and voted on a name after ultimately losing access to our marketplace as we had known it for since hicetnunc was founded, and ultimately needed a place to go. Currently, the Teia community has no fixed logo and has opted instead to use a rotating logo feed with designs submitted by the community. So far, over 101 logos have been submitted and added to the document, which powers the logos that are rotated on Teia.Art, with a new logo being served every time the page refreshes. All of the currently rotating logos are viewable on our Teia logo viewer, and that is linked in our latest Teia newsletter number 2. And you can also submit a design for the logo and have that on the main site, and the link is also in our newsletter to do this submission. So far, there is no plan to end the rotating logo, so if you're inspired, do not hesitate to participate. Right now, anyone is welcome to submit a design and showcase their ideas about what Teia looks and feels like to them. And also, being our nature of a collaborative environment, this status of the rotating logo and the logos in general will be decided by the community. I'm going to now open the room up, and if anyone wants to jump in, I would like to not talk as much until we get some questions.
Yeah, so ask for permission to speak and you can ask your questions. Yeah, this was basically a rundown of the current. Oh, Willie.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Apology. I'm not going to take up space on the stage. I just want to say thank you to all you guys. You're doing amazing stuff in a truly decentralized way, and you've taken on the platform to new heights. And yeah, good luck to you all. It's fantastic what you're doing. So I appreciate it.
Thanks. Okay. I would. Oh, there's an German Anfrage. Forgot the English word. Anyway, you can speak, Secret. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. No. Okay. You should be a speaker now. Yeah, now you should be a speaker. You're on mute, and if you unmute yourself, you can speak. I hope so, at least.
Is this me?
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm Secret Data. I love the Teia community. Been a part of it for a while. My question, I guess, was, or I guess an idea, and I put it in the the Discord and volunteered to do this, but I don't even know if it's possible. But I was super excited about all the logos and the various options. I thought that was really cool. And I thought it might be a cool way to, like, I guess the idea of branding in the real, like, in real life type stuff. But if if there was like t-shirts and like stickers or even mugs and stuff that people can like show off in the like real world, I guess, and take photos of, and they're putting it on their social media and stuff. I think that could be a cool way of like branding Teia, I guess, and showing off like all the logos that the community has made. But that was just an idea.
Yeah. I think the whole thing, how this works is you start stuff, and in this case, you probably want to contact the artists, right? So we can help. I can, if you want to keep this discussion going, we can go into Discord and discuss it. But I would say, yeah, if the artist agrees and says you can use my logo for printing or stickers or something, then it should be fine. Carolyn, maybe you want to chime in?
Hi. Yes, I remember this question, and I briefly responded in the Discord about this. And I would say my recommendations are, considering our decentralized nature, is that as long as you have the permission, you're more or less free from the artists, that you're more or less free to do whatever. But I would center the values of sustainability and the decisions that are made about the sourcing and production of those products so that they remain consistent with our community values. But also, I was thinking that perhaps going forward, it might be beneficial to have a provision for our logo submissions that they're more or less Creative Commons. That way anyone can use them, and we won't need to have they'll already be pre-approved, so that people can kind of more or less DIY wherever they are in ways that are aligned, again, with our code and our core values.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
we take this. Yeah. Maybe we take this as an opportunity to think about how. Wait a second. I try to add Raphael. Right. The way the rotating logo started was a very interesting one. We were thinking about, do we need to vote on a logo now? Because we had a name, but we had no logo, right? And this idea of a rotating logo came up, and it was basically the best way to have something there, right, on the site, without to showcase the whole the diversity and creativity of the community. And so we just put up this form and just started it, and we didn't settle on an end date. So you see, it was always a work in progress. Everything is a work in progress. Even this rotating logo is a work in progress. And that's the downside of this, is we don't really know what will be the final goal here. So at the moment, we don't have, like, we just rely on people submitting stuff, and we have their names, of course, through the form, and we can organize stuff with this, but we need to contact the artists, of course. So let's take this discussion to Discord, I would suggest, and think about ways how to perfectly do this while staying true to our vision, I would say. My suggestion.
For sure. Yeah, thank you so much. I definitely want to abide by, like, the whole diversity and equitable practices, and just want to make sure if this were to be done, to do it right. But thank you so much, guys.
It's funny how the logo came about. I mean, the rotating logo, because we knew that there needs to be something, and we were so glad that there was finally a name. That sparked a lot of discussion and hefty debate in the beginning. Who has been part of that will remember. And then there was the idea, okay, just let's try the logos which have been submitted to see how they look like. And then everybody fall in love with the rotating logo as such. Now, if you want to take that away again, I think this will hurt. So people would vote against taking off the rotating logo. And that was something which was never the initial idea. And it's a good example how things are evolving and how this is a living organism.
Yes, I'm going to agree with that. It would absolutely be so painful to see see a mono logo, a single logo. I think that the Teia community really embodies, all of the spirit that we have in our core values, and that the fact that there is, no one story, there's no one history, there's no one Teia either, right? And being that it is open source and decentralized already, I mean, technically anyone can create their own marketplace using the software, but what you cannot replicate are those unique experiences and perspectives and the individuals that make up a community. And I am so excited that not only we have the rotating logo, but that we have this name, which is this idea of interconnected living, organism. So
it's so hard to imagine. Yeah, like you said, it's so hard to imagine to fit that all into one single logo. It's just impossible. And this is so beautiful to see the rotating logos now, which as well have such a diversity, and they're still coming. It's really nice to watch.
Okay. Well, I had some thoughts, and I know Violetta is still in the audience. And I just want to say I'm loving the Friends feature. Everyone who is using it, I'm sure, is loving it. And I just kind of wanted to float this again out here and sort of like on the voice channel, is maybe if we can work, or maybe gauge the room, how we feel about, or maybe this isn't the space for it, but I keep in my mind imagining them as connections, and that the transaction hashes are like these threads that are connecting us all together. And so I guess I have a very metaphorical, allegorical, visual imagination. And so when I read Friends, I see connections, but that's how I imagine it.
Yes, Raphael raised their hands. I think what you said is very, very good point. Like a self-curating Friends feed that is evolving with the blockchain is a very, very interesting thing, and we can all just try it out by using it, right? We can just see what happens if we see all the new mints from people we collected and we have in our wallets. I think the general idea of exploring through the blockchain basically is a very interesting one, and it's fun to just play with it a little bit. Yeah. Maybe Raphael wants to chime in here. He raised the hands.
Yeah, hi. First of all, I wanted to say and join the general sentiment that to praise the amazing work that you all have done. It's incredible to see the journey from November 11th to now. I would have never imagined that we would be there now, and it's the amount of work that everybody has put in is really impressive. So yeah, kudos all around. And I had a question that has nothing to do with this. It's more of a technical question, and that might have been answered in the newsletters, but I unfortunately didn't have time to read them. It's about the indexer specifically, and knowing whether what's the situation regarding something like HICTeX, whether there is plans to have such an open indexer on Teia now. Is it going to be a port of HICTeX that runs somewhere? What are the plans regarding this? Both private, but also mostly public indexer API.
Javier can maybe answer this. hopefully.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's. I see also that many test tools is there, so probably they can reply better. So the thing is, I think there are discussions on if hictech.com should be updated to also like index the Teia swaps. And this is still under discussion. What is clear, it will not change to break previous, for example, previous interactive objects, etc. But then, as we have modified, so Sat, a member from the Discord, he has helped to update our version or our copy of hictech.com to handle Teia swaps. And so this one is run on our own servers, and basically this is the one that our mirror will use. And I think it's the question if we should open it like to tool makers to also use it, or it should be just our own indexer, just to avoid maybe having it saturated with too many requests. I think Manitcore should probably reply to that. He's the one maintaining that indexer. But my guess is if there is not that much demand, then probably it can be open to everybody. Then it depends how much of like requests is getting every day if we open it.
Yeah, I want to say that. Yeah, I mean it's good that that people are considering the maintaining interactive objects that we're using HICDEX. I would be really sad if my work stops working on Teia. But also, there's tremendous creativity that can be unlocked thanks to something like HICDEX in interactive objects, and it would be great if that could go on, because for me that was a big part of the legacy of hicetnunc and what attracted me there, and I know a lot of other artists also use that. So yeah, hopefully, like here's to hoping, and thanks everybody.
Yeah, I have to say that our version of HICDEX is open source, so everybody can really replicate it and create their own indexer and make it public. So I think it's open source, so all the changes we made to incorporate Teia swaps are public. So if we don't open it, then someone else can do it with no problem. But my guess is that we will end up offering it.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions from the audience, or anyone who just wants to stand?
Okay. Yeah, just raise your hands if you want to talk. Otherwise, we will keep on rambling, I guess. New features coming up. We were talking about the friends. Oh, now Test Tools is raising their hands. Wait a second. Let me add you.
Excellent.
So
the desktop version doesn't support speaking. You can only listen. So I had to switch to my phone.
no.
Was there a question about the index in particular, or?
If it can be open for others to build tools upon our indexer?
I mean, in general, I've kind of left them all open. I haven't really been hit with enough load to really cause major problems at this point, and especially since things have kind of rocked and people have kind of gone to other indexers, haven't had an issue at all. So if people want to access it, great. If we start getting a whole bunch of usage from people that aren't, say, Teia's site, then we'll talk about it when that time comes, and likely will be some sort of bifurcation where there'll be a public server and a private server, and we'll have filters in place and things like that. But so far, the infrastructure we've had has kept up with the user base fine.
Thanks. Any more questions? Okay. So for the new, if it's okay, I will lead to the next topic, unless someone wants to chime in. I want to use the opportunity. We talked about the friends feed, which is like everyone can just start using it and just play around with it and see what comes up. And I heard that we are close, or at least we are in the next in the final steps of implementing new UI changes. And maybe then you can talk a little bit about that and what will change in the UI over the next phase.
Yeah, we are, as I said, we're quite close. We're just polishing like minor things, and what is coming that on the tabs, like a history, we will have an update of the history, so it will have a better structure there. Then overall update for margins and setting up better standards, and the most important, like proper mobile version, and especially for those tabs, like for the history. So, and we have a design system, like to establish some standards. Yeah, and so it's basically for like for now, like we were working for, and we are just now like only polishing. So it's basically can be updated like more or less anytime. Yes. So, yeah, and something on minting page as well. Yeah, so the most radical change you will see on the tabs, like object tabs. Yeah, and another thing we are working now, it's not implemented yet, but we are working on the new feeds. So like for now, just a stage of ideations, but let's say we want to like introduce a masonry style, and then so you will see more objects on the landing page. And another thing that like we were comparing object.com and asking people what do they like there, especially collectors. And I heard from many people that they like to see prices and like more information on previews. So it's not only on the page, an object page, but also on the feeds. So our idea right now that we will have a switch, let's say. So one in one design you will see like more clean as it is right now. So you don't see let's say some information that may be disturbing you, but you can switch to another mode, like maybe like a trading or collecting mode, and then you will see on previews more information, like the name of the object, like author, editions, and price. So it's it will help like for collectors a lot. Like I'm collecting also, and like I use object.com only because of this reason, because when I see the feed or collection tab, then I see all the prices right away without need to be to visit the detail page. So we are for now like at a stage of ideation, and other updates also on ideation stage is filters, also on the feeds. So then you can filter like by price, by type of object, and you can also combine those. So let's say you can search for animation and then for the price no more than one Tezos, for example. So those like two bigger updates are in the stage of ideation right now.
Yeah, so as you said, the challenge is to stay true to the stripped down or basic UI we have, right? And to find ways to make options for people that want to get more info out of the feed. I think this is a cool idea.
Yeah, because
Options.
because some people likes more like clean design and other like opposite. And I think like we're so diverse, and maybe it's a good idea to just have this switch for collectors, and then for people who like his art more, like it's more clean space, might more like want to focus on art itself. And yeah, so I think like for now we're working this direction to have two options, not options, but the switch. So they will be implemented together. Like for now, it's a stage of ideation. So like we also like hear the opinions that maybe we will add like only price or something. It's not a big change. I mean, for example, if we hide price, name, token number, and everything, it will be like clean, the same way you see on Versum. But there are also like disadvantages of this. Like you cannot record, for example, like I hear that sometimes you're recording screen, and then you wouldn't see like information of this. And yeah, but my opinion that it's better to have the switch. So one view will be more like object.com, and other view will be more like Versum and hicetnunc. So more clean.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of discussions happening there, and I'm personally very, very, very excited to see new spins on the underground stripped down UI we have, and I'm keenly awaiting the implementation of those. Yeah. Any question? Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say that I am also looking forward to these filtering options, and strongly feel that we need to at least keep the bare minimum hicetnunc information, like the artist name and the object number, so that we can empower our community curation, whether official or unofficial, through screen recording, screenshots, etc. Just make it that much faster, and make sure that there's always some kind of well, at least if it's in frame, always some kind of attribution for the art that's being displayed, whether screen recording or screenshots. I think that will just go a long way to sort of help make our sort of crowdsourced marketing a lot more streamlined, and save a lot of extra work that it takes to identify arts and artists and tag those things.
Yeah. Okay. Questions on the UI part of things from the audience, maybe? Otherwise we can maybe, I don't know, what is on the list? What should we talk about? Maybe we should talk about a little bit about smart contracts, as always. Because there was if you look through the Discord, there's always a lot of questions around this topic, around the smart contracts topic, and maybe we can clean up a few of those questions for everyone.
I have a question, Merchant.
Yeah.
How would you describe the opposite of a smart contract? Maybe we should start there. I guess I'm sort of trolling a little bit. I guess meaning like paper contracts, old-fashioned contracts. We call them smart contracts because the current paper model requires humans to follow through with their promises, and a smart contract is just doing the contracts, but instead of the humans executing it, the code executes it. So I think that's a basic way for the people who are not technical in the audience to sort of understand what a smart contract is.
Yeah, so I'm not a coder, but as far as I understand it, and anyone can probably, Javier can chime in here, but basically it's a piece of code, right, as you said, that helps in a trustless system, in a trustless payment system, because it never can betray you, right? A code just executes some lines, and you can be sure that those lines will be executed. Now, if the code is programmed in a bad way, this can also lead to problems, right? That's why an audit, for example, is, we believe, or the consensus was an audit for our smart contracts is very important, because you can't change those afterwards if they are implemented. And we all need to trust these codes in order to make our decisions on the marketplace, our trading decisions. And so that's one of the main reasons why we chose to audit it, which means we sent Javier coded the code, wrote the code, as you say, and it was audited by a third party that was like turning it around, testing it, listing issues with it. Javier, maybe you can talk about this a little bit.
Well, the first thing is I didn't write it, so I more or less coordinated, but I think it was a collaboration with many people in the Discord that suggested improvements, and so it was a team development, no, in common. But I coordinated it, and the part with the audit, it was mostly me because of basically they had some list of things to check in the contract, and they didn't want to share it publicly, so they needed just few people to look at this document. So at the end, I was doing it for representing Teia. But I would say that the contracts, first of all, especially the swap contract is mostly coming from hicetnunc, so from Rafael. So we just improve it a bit with some small improvements. We solved some small bugs that were in the contract that were not exploits, but there were things that were not working optimally. And so we solved these kind of things and just modified a bit the contract. We didn't do big changes because we thought we had to deploy a contract very fast in the first weeks after the discontinuation, but then delays in the naming, decisions, etc., it took longer. So looking now back, we might have been able to add extra features to the contract because we had the time. But I think now after the audit, I think we should stay with what we have. That is already quite good. And yeah, in the future, we can add improvements to this content.
It's good that you chimed in there because it's all based on the original hicetnunc contracts, right? Which are open source, if I understand it correctly if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So we can't claim that we are the authors of this because it's an involvement of an open source thing, right?
Yeah, so there's two contracts that were audited, and one was the swap contract or the marketplace contract, and that's from hicetnunc. We just, let's say, improve it. And then there is the multisig, that is we really design ourselves. And so this comes from Teia. And that's the contract, and in principle will control the marketplace. So any change in the marketplace has to be done through this multisig contract, and also all the fees will come to this multisig contract. And that was also very critical to have it audited because, of course, there is where all the death from the fees will go. So if this has an exploit, then we could lose everything. No?
Maybe we can take this opportunity. Oh, sorry, Carolyn, go on.
I was going to say, for anyone who doesn't know, multi-sig stands for multiple signatures, meaning that there's no one person who signs the blockchain contract, the transaction, that it's a group of people who are part of the organization.
I think maybe it's worthwhile to start a little bit from scratch and just clean up some terminology here. So we talked about what a smart contract is. It is a kind of code you can interact on the blockchain with, right? And then we have a few smart contracts we already know from hicetnunc, right? So we can mint, which is a smart contract, which is a code that executes the minting process. And we have the swapping contract, which is in place. So you can basically Javier, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you send your NFT, you mint it. So you mint your NFT, it lands in your wallet. And from your wallet, you can send it via the swapping contract. You can send it to a smart contract that holds it and puts it up for sale. And anyone who interacts with the contract, for example, who collects it, sends fees to the, not fees, but Tezos in our case, to the swapping contract and receives in return the NFT if the price is paid in the right way. And then the artist receives royalties if it's a secondary sale, or the artist receives the money for the primary sale. and the platform receives a percentage as platform fees. So this is the swapping contract, basically the way you interact with the marketplace. And we introduced a third smart contract to the whole Teia thing, which is the multi-sig contract. This is a contract that I would say that you don't interact with when you collect or something. It's something that holds the funds, the received platform fees. They get sent to a multi-sig contract, which is basically, to put it in a simple way, it's a collectively managed wallet. And before, not before, but if we collect fees now, they will all be managed by a group of people instead of one person. Normally, a wallet is something one person holds the keys to. So those are the 3 smart contracts we have ready now, right?
Yeah, there's a fourth. So there's the token contract, so that the object contract. Mm-hmm. So that's what you mint. So basically, you use the minter to mint objects, and those objects are also a contract. And there is where it saves the information of who owns which token.
So the object itself is also a smart contract.
Yeah. So that's on each platform has their own contracts for these tokens. And so the hicetnunc one and Teia at the moment is using this object smart contract.
Great. And
which is an interesting subject, right? Because we didn't talk about the token landscape yet. I mean, it's complicated enough with the contracts, and when we have our own Teia contract to understand what it means when you swap on Teia contract or on the original OG XYZ contract. But then in the meantime, there are a lot of other marketplaces who not only show the object tokens, the ones we are minting, but also their own tokens. And this is a scenario which is really difficult to explain to people who are not that familiar with all this terminology and how it works. Yeah, I mean, like you said, the start is with the object token, the original one from hicetnunc, and we are carrying that over. So whatever you mint on Teia and hicetnunc XYZ or any of the forks or clones which are out there, it's always the same token that's being minted.
Yeah, so and also shown.
Yeah. So you have that, like you said, you have that in your wallet when you mint it. That's a creation process, but it's not for sale yet. It's just created, and then you think about how do I want to sell that, and even without now talking about Teia, you can already offer your minted token in several marketplaces. Like these days, you can offer it on object.com, but then they are gone and they're sitting in this marketplace. And then you maybe split it and you offer the other half on hicetnunc, but they don't see each other because you sort of pass them over to that marketplace, and then they are sitting there in the showroom waiting to be collected with the price you have selected, and this is disconnected to what you then do on another marketplace where you maybe also swap part of your edition and offer that for sale. Mm.
So a lot of people, and this relates to this, a lot of people were asking about how are those objects? Can I view them on hicetnunc still? Can I view them on Teia? Can I view them on object.com? And as long as a marketplace indexes object tokens, so the object tokens are the tokens we mint through the smart contract from hicetnunc, which Teia uses too, and hicetnunc uses, And as we all know, tokens minted on hicetnunc and Teia, they all appear on object.com because they index those objects. So the visibility of the objects won't change. You will still be able to view them on hicetnunc and on Teia and on object.com. The main question is where will the listing prices, the swaps, appear? And this is basically up to any of those marketplaces to decide if they show it or not. So this is kind of the thing we can talk about, or which will be decided by the marketplaces. What swaps will be shown? Yeah. Click raised their hands. Maybe you want to talk?
Yeah, I mean, I had another point came up as we were talking about listing things on other marketplaces. That's kind of changed, right? With like a lot of it moving to non-custodial, like Rarible and Object now. Like you can list you can have one edition of something and have it for sale on multiple marketplaces. And there's not. I think we're starting to move away from like actually swapping them onto the marketplace, but unless I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure you can do that now. But my original question was more about the multi-sig wallet. Who are the key holders for that wallet, and how are decisions kind of collectively decided with that? You'll have to forgive me if this is all a part of the Discord and stuff like that. I'm not able to participate very well in Discord regularly, but I was just curious about the key holders really, and how the decisions might collectively be made to, what to do with those funds. Yeah.
So, okay. At the moment, at this point in time, we haven't collected any fees, right? But we have set up everything. We decided via discussion that we want to have a group of people for the first iteration of the multisec holders. You can look them up in Discord. If you want, I can send you a list of people. It's all visible, and we will. At the moment, they don't act on anything, right? Because we don't have any funds. But once we have one, we have a first rotating panel of people, and they are not in place to make decisions. They are more in place to enact on decisions made by the community. So our idea how this will be handled is we will have a working group for finances and for budget. They will publish a budget, right, in form of a proposal, and we will vote on this. And if it's voted on, it can pass on to the multisec people to enact it. But those people, like at the moment, I think it's about 15, maybe Javier knows better. I think 10 or 15 or something around this. They are 13, all in place. Yeah. They are mainly there to enact decisions reached within the community. And this will all, of course, we have to think about this, in my opinion, we have to think about this as some kind of government in a way. So you need a budget, and you need to have a decision from the, at least from the parliament, right? To say yes to this budget. So this is the idea how it was set up. Now everything that evolves at the moment in this organic thing we call Teia Community is all up for debate, is all up for changes, and as you see, we're taking this step by step. And I can only speak to the consensus reached at the moment. So this is the idea behind it. Put up a budget, vote on it, and then the multisec holders will enact this budget. The idea, or why these multisec holders have to be that many people, is mainly because you need to reach a quorum on the multisig. We can set this quorum as we wish, but it's always good to have multiple people. So if one person, for example, is away or isn't reachable and we need to enact the budget, then the other ones are there too. And also, of course, it keeps everything in check, right? So if you have only 3 people on this multisig, 2 could form an alliance and could run away with the money, and we don't want this. So at the moment we came up with this around 10 to 15 people as a good starting point, and this number can be changed over the time. As you see, it's all trying to form ideas and put them into place, and hopefully as soon as we have a real DAO at work, there will be a better, like even better decentralized way of this is basically the idea.
Yeah, one of the decision of who should be in this initial multi-sign was that, I mean, this contract will also act on the marketplace. So, for example, if suddenly there is an exploit on the collects, one can pause or stop the marketplace, but this has to be done through the multi-sig. And so we need people that is reachable fast to act in this situation. So when we were selecting people, it was basically people that were very active in Discord during that time. So we knew that if we need people
Javier,
to vote, and yep.
It's really hard to understand you right now. Can you try again?
Yeah, this connection is bad, or
I think that's yours, Merge, because you were breaking up a little bit as well. Could that be?
Yeah, I will repeat. So basically, the decision was to select these people because they were active in this moment in Discord. So we have to vote tomorrow on this, and it has to pass the decision. They will be accessible, and we will not be missing people for the voting, because for the group of 13 people that we have, we need at least 6 people that say yes to the proposal in order to take place.
So
that was the initial.
I just have maybe a follow-up question to that. Are there what are your guys' plans, or what's Teia's kind of, if there is a plan to kind of include more people outside of the Discord? Because, I consider myself very active on hicetnunc in the community and stuff, but I'm not able to really participate in Discord all that often. And so, I'm just wondering if there's any sort of, plans moving forward to get more people involved, or maybe moving like the voting platform outside of Discord, or maybe it already is. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
Yeah,
curious if you guys have thought of that.
The voting platform is already
I can answer a little bit
outside
of
of
that.
Discord. We have Teia Vote, which is a tool
voting tool that we
nothing
use
to do with Discord. Of course, the discussions at the moment happen mainly on Discord.
I think it's been renamed to Teia Community voting tool, and you just need to be
we have
active.
A community.
I'm hearing both. I'm hearing both you guys speak at the same
sorry,
time. It's really
I can't hear Marsh.
I know what
one of you should talk. One of you.
Yeah, it looks like Teia's muted now, Merchant, if you want to go ahead.
I know what the issue is. I'm now using Carolyn and me are now sharing the same account, I guess. I'm very sorry, Carolyn. Yeah, so
I can't actually hear you at all, Merchant.
Finish the
so
point,
I think something's weird
then
happening.
I will mute myself again. So yeah, we have several ways to like the idea of getting people from outside of Discord involved has always been present. It's always a problem, right? Discord is a chaotic place at sometimes, and it's hard to get people to stay there and having fun there. For some people, it's really fatiguing. We have a forum. If you go to the Teia Community Twitter account and to the bio link, you can see there's a Discord forum, not a discourse forum. Sorry, it's a normal forum like in the old days, where we can discuss stuff outside of Discord. The most important discussions should also happen there, so you can go there. There's also the Teia Vote tool, as you mentioned. It's outside of Discord, so we don't vote inside of Discord, at least for bigger decisions. For example, the name vote, as you remember, was on a voting tool outside of Discord. And and I think there's also an ideation phase for a proper Agora tool, where people can discuss and meet and craft proposals. So there's definitely the idea of having everything like at least shown outside of Discord. And you should also check out the blog, I would say, blog.Teia.Art. And we try to bring everything there to all the information. And I will hand over the account back to Carolyn now.
Yeah, I think she can't hear you. That's the issue. Not sure why. But
Yeah, he sort of just dropped off and never came back, but I've been reading along in the captions. So,
okay.
but I did want to mention that we had been talking about having regular Twitter spaces too, in addition to the other more like working group areas that are linked on that blogs link that I think he mentioned and is linked in the Twitter community bio. So can look forward to having more spaces like this, and we're definitely open to suggestions and direction and participation more broadly. So you can definitely look forward to having things happening outside of Discord in all areas.
Yeah, just wanted to ask Click, do you want to follow the news, or would you like to participate? I mean, I can understand Discord is overwhelming, but what you're aiming to get, like where it all is, or do you want to contribute?
I'm personally looking to contribute and let, share my opinions and try to have my voice heard, I guess. I try to participate as much as I can within like the Tezos governance in that system overall. Like I read Agora and I try to provide my input when I think it's appropriate and things like that. I'm pretty, that stuff is very interesting and important to me. And hicetnunc or Teia now that whatever, this whole ecosystem is very important to me as well. And, if there's, big decisions that are trying to be made and things that are being discussed, I think it's important to be parts of those discussions. And when everything's kind of funneled towards the Discord and stuff like that, it makes it a little more challenging at times. And so I was just curious where you guys were all stood on that.
Thanks for that. It's interesting because this is also evolving, and Discord seemed to be and still is the way where things are happening. And also with the working groups now about to properly break out, again, Discord seems to be a fitting tool. And not raising any expectations, but if you could think in an ideal world, how would that look like to you to be able to contribute?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know if I have a good answer for that. All I know is that I think I would think ultimately, like in the long run, we're not going to keep using Discord for these types of things, right? Like Discord it works right now, and we've and some of the things that have been done in Discord servers is very impressive. But at the end of the day, it feels, I don't know, it might be a little superficial, but it feels almost like we're forcing a Web 2 tool in a Web 3 world. Like I don't think Discord is going to be the ultimate answer. And it's also not very decentralized, right? Like if everybody's major community hub is on Discord, and Discord goes away someday, like where does that leave everyone? So it's more of a broad view philosophical point I'm bringing up here, but yeah, I think there's probably maybe there's not a better way to do it yet. Like Discord does serve a very, very important function. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. It's good to hear that, and we all feel that. I think that it somehow is not fitting, but there isn't anything better. So this is just where we are. But thank you for letting us know what you think and where the deficiencies are. I know Merge is always trying also to search for tools or better ways or more efficiency, because there's so much time needed to read all through that and connect the channels, and then you jump forwards and backwards in the channels and update them. It's really challenging. But on the other side, we're talking about a global community in all time zones and a big one with many people. So for some of them it works, but I also see it like you. It cuts off certain people who can't afford or just don't even want to participate in Discord. And it's a bit of a shame because these are valuable voices too.
I
Maybe
have a
I
follow.
will
Oh,
add.
I was just
Okay,
okay.
Caroline.
I was just going to ask a quick follow-up. Do you have any software click that you would like to see?
It's
Maybe
now
like,
me.
I mean, Element is kind of bare
Sorry.
bones, and then but someone in our Discord had suggested that maybe we should use something. Oh, I think my mic's getting weird, but what about like Mastodon or Element or something like that? Have you, or would those be
I've
appealing?
actually looked. Yeah, I've actually looked at like Mastodon and stuff like that. I haven't really used it a whole lot, but that's like that's like something like that. I think is interesting, at least just for the decentralization side of things. But as far as like practicality and like usability and stuff, I don't know as if there's anything that really comes close. But yeah, I actually have to mute my mic now, but this was good. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thanks for that feedback. I know we've got people thinking about the exact same things.
Just to give you guys a heads up, because I'm looking at Element for my community stuff too. You can do what you want with it. The usability is there. The problem is that being that it's kind of open source projects and decentralized private servers is the same kind of thing. Commercial software versus OSS, and so the open source stuff's just got less features, and you have to set up more yourself. If you want all the fun stuff you're used to having in Discord or Telegram, you run your own Element server. You load your own mods.
Yes. So maybe if we get enough people wanting to start like a new city, an Element, we could start building something like that. I know I've had a little bit of experience with it, and everything you said is true. And I'm definitely not as technically adept. So
maybe we'll add that the Discord is more for being fully updated. So we have all the discussions there. So we should have some place for brainstorming. And but we still have some summaries on the forum. And other thing is Kanban board on Notion for now. So we're also trying to use it. So basically for the overview, you can come to the Notion Kanban board and you can see like this overview, what is going on. But still, the Discord is a central place to bring ideas and discuss. I understand it's like very demanding, but still like when you bring your idea, then you're expecting for answer, and for like other people will come and also they will bring something. Their idea, so basically it's not big difference between forum and Discord. Like we can do it on the forum, but we're doing it on the Discord. So for me, it's like pretty similar, but how we use it now, the Discord is for all the conversation and the forum is for most important topics, and it's like better prepared conversation, better prepared proposals and discussions. So it's more like summaries. So you can like start, of course, like searching on the Notion and on the forum. Yeah.
And I think the blog now is also a very good source to stay informed. But the question was more about how to participate. And like you said, there needs to be space for the discussions, and they need space. There's a lot of text when you discuss, and you won't find that too long didn't read thing. You either take part or not. But I just had one thought, and it was really surprising when we had the naming vote, because when we participate in Discord, we have a sort of a feeling how many people are participating. Like, is it 200 or is it 2,000? You get a feeling on where you are from a magnitude. And then came the vote, and we had the banner on the side, and we had way more votes than we anticipated. So people did not take part in the Discord, but still, when it comes to really important decisions, they are taking part in the vote, and they still feel part of the community. And this, I think, was a great experience we can learn from.
I would say it's two like different experiences. So someone have to prepare this proposal to vote. So like you're discussing, let's say 1 month about something, and then you're preparing like output of this discussion, and then someone can vote. So that's the like, big difference between brainstormings and let's say participating. I don't know, 1 hour in this for decision. So we have this tool, then you can, of course, vote there. So we had, maybe, I think, 2,000 something people who were voting for the name, and like for contributing, it's still like discussion is still work itself. Like so, you have to be updated. So if someone is writing to you somewhere, like it's good to read it. I mean, you can't ignore all the conversation. But I want to add one thing that we know that it's very challenging. And one idea that once we set up the working groups, then we had an idea that one channel will be like something like announcement for each group, and then people from this group they will, let's say, write summaries or I don't know, face of some work, like in really short, just summary, and then they will put on the announcement channel, on their own announcement channel, so everyone can go there and check the progress in really short outputs of those brainstorming and discussions. And the purpose is because like community will be updated, and because when people will be voting for the budget for those groups, then we should have some short overview of what people are doing in those groups. So basically, group will be responsible for updating community, and like we will use those channels for updating community about those groups. I don't know if this is idea how to bring other type of summaries on the Discords. So on the forum, we have more like proposals and bigger discussions, but on the Discord, on this announcement channel, we will have smaller decisions, let's say, or smaller outputs of discussions, in order to update community, and people can vote or rate your efforts for the budget.
Excellent. And I think with the addition of ongoing Twitter spaces, to have some place for a voice discussion is going to help sort of tie all those threads together to continue our web metaphor. And unless there are any more questions or anyone has anything else that they'd like to say or announce, we're over our 1 hour time, and I want to just wrap up so everyone can continue with their planned activities for the day or night. Anyone? Okay, well, this is the last chance. I want to thank everyone who has attended, and all the speakers, and everyone for showing up and listening today. This is Carolyn, and on behalf of Teia Community, I'm going to close this room. Thanks again. See you on the web.
Thank you.